What's up? I'm Empathetic Chicken, and I'm here to do a collective reading. Just wanted to focus on self-love because tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and I know a lot of people get like in their feelings about it, which I'm actually kind of alright for once. I don't know, Valentine's Day was never really a big deal to me. Like, I just don't like the commercialism of it, and then like just there's a lot of pressure to be like with people, and I don't know, like it just was never what it was cracked up to be in my experience, like when I was with somebody. So like, I don't know, I never really got excited. But anyway, I am single, been single about a year and 2 months now, and I'm decent. Like, I don't need anybody like that. So I just wanted to put this out there for the people who maybe won't have anybody. I mean, not like you have to be in a relationship anyway. Like, it's just the little mainstream story. Like, you can be alone and happy, and alone and miserable, like whatever. But yeah, just wanted to show up and put this out there in case anybody might need to hear something. I don't know. I just came up with a little spread, so I'm gonna see what comes out. But yeah, the first little position I came up with is where, oh my god, I can't read. Where I currently am on my self-love journey. So, I mean, this is obviously for like whoever resonates, like not just necessarily I, but whoever's watching and needs to hear the message or whatever. No worries if not, if it doesn't even relate, I'm just showing up and seeing what happens. That's really what I do with all my readings. I don't claim to know what's going on with anybody who's watching. So yeah. Card we got is emotions. I was just talking about being all in our feelings. So I mean, maybe we feeling some things about ourselves. I don't know, but what things are we feeling? Like, what things are we feeling about ourselves? Because, I mean, there's a range of emotions on this card. This is horrible. I'm sorry. Comparison. So, I mean, maybe a lot of people could be looking at, like, the other little happy couples and being like, man, I wish I could have that. And like, it's easy to feel like there's something wrong with you if you don't have somebody. But I'm here to tell you, there's not. And it's fine. Like, it might not feel fine, but like, ultimately, you're gonna survive. That's probably like so horrible to hear. But I don't know. Like, I've been through like some little cycles. Like, my whole life, pretty much, it's been a cycle of like not valuing myself and feeling like I needed somebody else to like choose me and be like the one to validate like that I was good enough and all that. And I'm not proud of that, but that's just what I ended up doing since I was like a teenager. I just wanted so bad to be like number one and to feel like I was worth something. But I mean, another person can't really do that. I mean, you might get some temporary little highs or whatever, like, oh, but at the end of the day, like, if you don't feel it about yourself, then like, it's just not gonna work. And that's just my opinion. Like, it never, I mean, I've only had one relationship my whole life. I'm like 30, so like, I know I don't have much experience, but like, just from my limited experience, I know that even like when the person I was with tried to make me feel loved, it just kind of never worked because I just couldn't accept it because I didn't accept myself. So anyways, I'm not trying to get on my rant. I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes that whole like need to be in a relationship and like want to have somebody else kind of fill that void, it can kind of be a little I don't like using the words toxic or unhealthy, but just harmful in ways. Yeah, so like maybe it's hard to like love ourselves when we see like everybody around us. It's like they seem so happy and like, you know, they got that validation. Maybe we don't have that, but it's not like we ain't supposed to be like everybody else. I mean, it's hard to feel some type of way about it. I mean, I know it sucks sometimes to be like a loner. Trust me, I am one. But I mean, we can't compare to other people. Like, it's just not how it's supposed to be. Even though we do it, like, we're not supposed to. I mean, oh my God, y'all don't have to leave freaking doo-doo smells. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I just got like the wafted stink of a turd fill my nostril, and now I'm just like, alright, so basically maybe we might be in our feelings sometimes, just thinking like, well, dang, like I wish I had somebody, and I wish somebody would give me flowers, or, sorry, I'm not the one to talk about this. I'm just like kind of, a little bit, I don't know if I should post this. I'm very resistant to, love stuff. I'm a little bit of, I forget the word, but a little bit, not spiteful, but I'm just like, all the little things that like most people like, I'm just kind of not with it. I'm just like, I don't want flowers. I would rather let them live. Like the little romancy stuff, I don't know. It would take something like really special. Like, I don't want just like a little store-bought teddy bear. I want like a poem, or I don't know, something like a handwritten note, something like that. But anyway, this ain't about me. I'm just saying, like, it's okay if you want something different. Like, it's a good example. So like, you might feel like you're asking for too much or something if you don't like want what everybody else wants. But you're not. It's alright to like not compare to everybody else. Like, that might work for everybody, but, or some people, but not for everybody. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting too like intermingled on my own like little things. But I'm trying here. But I'm gonna just move on. So like, where we'd like to be on our little self-love journey. If I can hold the cards. My chicken's done abandoned me. It's bedtime though. It's Betty bat time. Alright, where would we like to be on our self-love journeys? Clean slate. So start that mess over. Like, don't be looking at how you think it's supposed to be or how it's been in the past. Like, you can have a new start, or you ain't looking over your shoulder, or like looking at the social media and being like, oh man, I'll never compare to that. I'll never be good enough. Well, guess what? It's fake. And even if it's not, it's like a little moment in time, and it's like somebody else's, and you'll never be that. So like, there's no point in like trying to aspire to it. It's just not possible. So like, the better use of your time is just look at what you have and make the most of it. That sounds really mean, but like, it's just true. Like, you can't be what you're not, and that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It's just like certain things get like attention, and little ideas get like circulated out there like it's like, this is the standard. But like, it's all just, we made everything up. It's all made up. I mean, so anyway, we can start over. We don't have to keep these little ideas about what we have to like achieve in order to accept ourselves and be enough. See, that's pretty clear. And we got radiance on the bottom. I mean, that's just like, we all have our own little radiance about us. If we ain't like sitting here looking at somebody else's, I mean, it's there. You just gotta see it. You know? Yeah. So yeah, how do we get to this clean, fresh start? I don't know, I'm just thinking like a little perspective shift, like just understanding ourselves in a different light. Like instead of thinking that we need to be like other people, like I'm gonna just tell my own little story again because I'm me and that's all I know. But like with this comparison, like so I grew up my whole freaking childhood like looking at my sister and being like, dang, why can't I be more like her? Like she's outgoing, everybody likes her. Like I just need to be like her. But the truth is, I didn't need to be like her. I just needed to like accept myself and see what was special about me. Like maybe people paid more attention to her for some reason. Like not saying she's not cool and all, but like maybe there was something about her that just like attracted people in that I didn't have, but that didn't mean that like I wasn't, good enough. It just meant maybe that like people were only used to seeing like a certain thing and I was kind of weird. So it was just kind of like, huh? Like, who are you? Like, what's wrong with you? So like they were only doing what they knew and like valuing the things that seemed normal to them. So it was never like a flaw within me. It was just little social standards, like little norms. But anyways, just a new perspective. But how do we get there? Instead of me like acting like I know. How do we get there? Empathy. I think just being willing to like see yourself, because I know like in my own story or whatever, it can be like really uncomfortable to face the fact that you feel the feelings that you feel. Like first you got the self-hatred, then you got like even more like self-loathing on top of that for being jealous of other people, and it's just a lot. Like it can seem like, well, there's like plenty of reasons to hate myself. Like how could I ever love myself? But that's the part of you that needs the little empathy, because it's just the part of you that's like wounded and lonely and just like craving that acceptance. But like the acceptance is never gonna be like found out there. Like it's gotta be here. And that sounds so cliche, but like that's what I'm learning. Like the more I kind of like make space for myself to be like okay the way that I am, like the more I believe it. Like if that's another thing, if you just like keep thinking that you have to be different, then you're never gonna be okay. Like you're fine, but like a lot of it's like a mindset thing. Like if you just can't allow yourself to be enough, then you're not gonna be enough to yourself. Like you probably know what I mean. I feel like I repeat myself and go in circles just because I don't know how to explain things best and communicate. But I don't know, if you're not willing to give, like another point, I just thought of this, like if you're not willing to give yourself compassion and like empathy, then like how can you expect anybody else to? Like that don't make no sense. So yeah, I don't know if it helps to think of it this way, but like sometimes I think of myself, I feel like this is a pretty common example, but like it helps me to think of like myself as someone else, because I would never like treat other people the way that I treat myself sometimes, which sounds really mean, and it is. But like I don't know, it's like sometimes I judge myself for things, and then if it was someone else in my shoes, like I would be like, oh no, like there's no reason to judge that. But if it's helpful, like try to think of yourself as someone else and like just witness the feelings that you feel, and try to offer a little bit of compassion and empathy, and like understand why you might feel the way you feel. Like maybe you just need to like sit with yourself for a while and just like feel it. I mean, it sucks to feel stuff, but I think when we do like slow down and kind of take in why we feel the way we do, it can kind of help us get out of those little ruts. Because I don't know, the more I've kind of like unpacked the feelings that I've had of like jealousy and comparison, I mean, the more I've like overcome those patterns. I mean, I ain't gonna say they ain't still there. Like, I still feel like the pattern try to play out sometimes. Like, but I think just like with practice of like catching those thoughts and just kind of like, I don't know, like soothing, self-soothing type stuff, and just like restoring the little loop story that plays is helpful to me, has been helpful. And I'm not 100%, but like just the little pattern. And I think anything with repetition obviously becomes a pattern. Like if you just like shift, maybe when those thoughts come up of like, well, I should be like them, or I wish I had this, just like shift it to like, well, I may not have this, but I do have this. Or I don't know, you get what I'm saying? Hopefully it's just like replace it with what's actually possible. Because I mean, like I said, you can't be anybody else, but you can be you and be proud of you instead of like hating yourself. So yeah, I think I said that enough. I don't know. Moving on. So, something to love about you. Let's see. So in case you needed like just something, like what is there to love about me? Well, let's see what the cards want to say. Allowing. I feel like this is all about kind of like just being. And I feel like that kind of goes perfectly with this whole comparison thing, because it's like these, for example, the chickens, like they do this little dust bath thing where they like get the little dust mite thing, or they might, I can't talk, they get the mites off in the dust or whatever. But it's just like a little natural activity. They just, you know, they do it, they chill. Like, have you ever seen like chickens? They just kind of like, sometimes they'll stretch out their little leg and just like be chilling in the golden rays of the sun. And they're just like at peace, it looks like. I mean, I don't know. I've never been a chicken, but from the outside, it just seems like they're not concerned about what they look like or anything. They're just doing what they do. Like, they're just doing their little natural activities. So I'm getting this as like, whatever your sort of like natural abilities are, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things to love about you, like whatever. And really, like, there's no expectation of like what that has to be. Like, I feel like this is more a card of just like releasing all that and just like being, just for being here, that is enough of a reason to like love yourself. I mean, you exist, so like, that's cool. But yeah, I feel like I kind of lost myself there a little bit, but allowing. I mean, I think I still go with what I said about just like whatever you just feel naturally inclined to do. That's something to love about you, like your little natural skills and gifts and things. And I mean, you'll know what those are. I mean, I feel like if I'm to like apply that to myself, maybe if it'll help to have an example. I mean, I would think that I'm sort of like in tune emotionally, and that's kind of like a strength of mine. And even though I feel things like really extremely, like next level empathy sometimes, like it's still like a skill. and like a thing, I think, to be cherished. I don't have the right words. But, yeah, so if there's something like that about your personality or like whatever, however other things, I don't know, what makes people people. Like, just think about what makes you special, man. So yeah, I don't know, I don't really have a focus right now after those little spread positions, but I'm gonna just pull like some from these other decks just because I want to pull cards and see what else we need to know about self-love. Expand! I like this deck. My capacity for love is infinite. So I might not feel that way yet, but once you like reach the barrier and kind of get in the practice of like learning to see yourself differently in a more loving way, like you really can love yourself. Like it's just a matter of opening up to it. So yeah, I'm gonna do one from this deck too, just to see what else. Anything else on self-love? I actually did some self-love readings, like my first little readings on my channel, like way back when I printed the Chicken Transition Oracle, but those are on private, I think. Okay, anything else? Alright, so that's kind of already, just from reading the first little sentence, I can tell it's relevant, but it says, dare to venture outside your comfort zone. This is a time of expansion, new opportunities, and doing all of those things you've held back on. There is no more time to waste to get out there and explore. So yeah, I mean, if you've been feeling like there's like limits to what you're capable of or what you can achieve or whatever, maybe take a look at your little comfort zone and how that keeps you from things that you want to experience. Because if you're not willing to like see things differently or do things differently, then nothing's really gonna change probably. So yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna do one more. How can we get out of our comfort zone? Just let me know that, please. What's something we can do? I'm trying not to make this too long, but I just like pulling cards. It is getting cold out here. Alright, so we got showing your vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Be expressive with your emotions and don't be afraid to put your heart on the line. If someone can't return the same to you, that's a reflection of their own fear. At least you can say you did your best. I mean, honestly, that kind of like really hits home for me because like I've been in situations where like I've just like put everything out there and been honest about my feelings, and then I was either ignored or just like confused at the response. So I don't know, it took a lot of like overthinking and just stress like for me to come to terms with the fact that like it was okay that I was open and that I was vulnerable, and that like me sharing had nothing to do, like me sharing and like the response back had nothing to do with like if I should have or not. Like I don't know, I just basically had to be okay with me showing up how I did and knowing that it wasn't wrong, even if it wasn't received the way that I would have liked. You know what I mean? So like, even though it's kind of embarrassing sometimes, I still think if you're being honest and like showing up as you, then you can't really go wrong. Like, and if someone else can't meet you there, like pretty much what the card is saying, like if they can't do the same, then that's a reflection of like how they feel about themselves. Like if they're not willing to be honest with you, it's kind of meaning that they're not honest with themselves, because like either way, like however they feel, it's kind of just like, I mean, I don't know, I just feel like I value like upfrontness and honesty and everything. Like, just because, like, if somebody's like trying to, like, if they're silent because they're trying to, don't die on me now, don't die, 20%. But if someone is like not telling you something out of like trying to preserve your feelings, then I don't really feel like that's helpful, because I would rather know the truth. Like, that's just me. So I'm not really like into lying or whatever, but whatever, pick your way. But my way is just like, I gotta be honest. But anyway, so basically I feel like maybe in the past, some of y'all like me just kind of like let your heart out there and it just felt like it was crushed and trampled and freaking ignored, and just like it was too painful to do it again. Like, you just can't do it again. And like, you might think, I'll never find love because like this happened, and it's just like, it's gonna happen again. But guess what? It's not. Like, because the difference is, this time you can choose to be okay after like whatever happens. I mean, I think that's really what it boils down to for me, is like knowing my little pattern, and that I tend to just reject myself based on what other people do and how they respond to me. But like, the lesson is not to do that next time. And I mean, yeah, I might feel some feelings, like if the feelings aren't reciprocal or whatever, but I don't have to feel like to that level of just like self-hatred and like fear about like, oh, I shouldn't have opened up and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm horrible because I have feelings. Like, that's not true. Like, we're human. We're gonna feel things. Like, it's not like shameful, it's, you know, to feel and love people. So, yeah. Just had to say that for whoever. Don't you pee on me. I don't know what freaking you be thinking sometimes, trying to spray me. Keep moving. But yeah. I think I'm gonna try to close this out. We're on 30 minutes. But let's pull a final card of just like encouragement. And I need my book. I don't have my book, but hopefully I can say something. I wanted to read one, but I forgot about the little books. So what final message of self-love, what can get us through this freaking commercialized Valentine's Day? I'm sorry. Y'all might like Valentine's Day. I mean, I ain't really opposed to it. I just have my own little resistance to it, just because like I'm kind of feeling like I haven't gotten over my own little pattern of just feeling hopeless in love stuff, and like no one will ever freaking meet me where I am. So like, that's on me. I don't want to put a damper on anybody else's spirits. Like, I really do hope like y'all have a happy Valentine's Day, and whether you're single or with somebody or multiple people or whatever, however you go, like, just enjoy the moment. That's all I can say. But yeah, alright, I'm gonna quit shuffling. It's just like a habit. Sometimes you just keep going. But what's the final message for self-love? I don't know this card. Like the Wanderer. I don't remember what this is about, but it's giving me like the little hermit vibes in the tarot. And there's like this little egg in here that's like smoking. So I mean, it could be about to hatch, like. So I just feel like maybe this is kind of tying into like the capacity that we have to learn to love ourselves enough, like, to not feel ashamed of how we feel, no matter like what context. So I ain't gonna get too wordy, because I feel like sometimes I ramble, but I'm alright with that, because I've accepted that about myself, and I'm burping, sorry. But I got a freaking lasagna in the oven, and I need to check on it. So I'm just the constellation of isolation. You'll get there. I didn't think I'd ever be okay alone, but now I'm good. I have my moments. Like, everybody gets lonely, but there's like this little like satisfaction and just like whole other contentment that comes like when you can be alone. Like, I can't explain it. Like, you just have to experience it. But it really, like, like I felt so much better like being alone than I ever have like being in a relationship. I mean, I've only been in one, but like it's really nice to just be alone. But yeah, anyways, hoping everybody can have a good day, week, and anything else. I can't think. But Tom, I love you, man. I love you guys. Talk to you again soon.